Hello everyone, it's Ginny again. Today I'm going to be making some birds and I'll show you how I do that, and then I'm going to make something with those birds. So to start with, I got a piece of cardboard. This is just one of those dividers that you put in a folder, and then I covered that cardboard with some book paper. So here's some I've done already. Some book paper and some music paper. I've only got a little bit of that left now, so I'll be using that now to cut out some birds. And what I've done, I've drawn the birds earlier and made some templates out of them. So that's just the bird body, and then I've got a wing, and I'll be cutting two of the wings and one of the bird body. And I also have a smaller size here, the little bird and its wing there. So it's pretty easy how I do this. Just grab the template, lay it out so you've got as much of the text on the bird as possible, and then just trace around this and cut it out. But because I've made quite a few of these, it was easier to make the template and trace around it rather than try and draw the same thing every time. And with my ability of drawing, I'm not going to get the exact same bird. I'm trying to do it by hand each time. So I didn't measure, and I also have a smaller size here, the little bird and its wing there. So it's pretty easy how I do this. Just grab the template, lay it out so you've got as much of the text on the bird as possible, and then just trace around this and cut it out. But because I've made quite a few of these, it was easier to make the template and trace around it rather than try and draw the same thing every time. And with my ability of drawing, I'm not going to get the exact same bird. I'm trying to do it by hand each time. So I didn't mention that it's double, it's coated on both sides, so the bird, when you've cut that out, it has the text on both sides. So that's that. I've got a little bit of space here for one of the wings, although I might not use that because there's not enough text. So I'll do this. There's one. Turn it over, do the other side. So with the body there and the two wings. And I'll also do the small one, and then I'll cut them all out together. So the smaller one I want to do in the music paper. I have a problem here in that I ran out of music paper, so I only have that covered on one side. So what I'm going to have to do is make two bodies and then stick them together. So it'll be a little bit thicker, but that doesn't really matter. So I'll just try and find a good spot with a lot of music pattern on it. Ooh. I'm not doing too well. Keep still. It moved a bit. That's a problem with hurrying, see, because I feel like I have to hurry. Otherwise, you know, we'd be here forever. Now turn it over this way so that both sides will match when I put them together. I had a go recently at trying to do an overhead camera thing with one of my husband's tripods, and it has the ability to be able to put the camera on and have the camera looking straight down. That's all great, except my desk is too small to fit the tripod on and still have enough space for me to be able to create. So if I set it up on here, the camera would be able to see only a small portion of the table, and it gives me barely any room at all to move. So I think the problem there is the size of my desk not being big enough, really. But that's all I have at the moment, so that's not going to be feasible, really. Alright, now just do his little wing. I'll have to do 4 of these. Oops, moving all over the place. Try and relax. I've also been practicing with trying to do speed up videos. Not necessarily so that I can just make speeded up videos all the time, but I want to be able to have that available if I need to, or say I have a really long video that's got a lot of tedious stuff on it. I want to be able to speed up those sections that are boring and go on forever, just so it sort of cuts down the length of the overall video and doesn't bore the viewers to tears. So that's, I've done 1, 2, 3. I have to do another one. So yeah, I've been practicing with that. I found that the Movie Maker program I have been using doesn't have a lot of I don't know what I'm trying to say, what the word is I want. Basically I'm not able to do as much as I wanted to with that program, so I'm now having to learn a new program, or it's new to me, as an alternative to using Windows Movie Maker. That's going to be a bit of a long process of learning for me, and then trying to remember how to use it. So it might be a while before I can get that up and running with the speeded up version, but I'll just keep trying until I get it right. So like at this instance, this is going to be a bit boring watching me cut every single piece out. So I obviously drew that much too big, so it helps to put the template back over it and see how far out you are if you think that it's probably a bit wrong. Finding these scissors awkward too. I had some really nice small scissors and I've lost them. I don't know where they've gone. So hopefully they'll turn up again soon. They've got to be somewhere. They haven't been taken out of the house, so they're here somewhere. Yeah, I might cut all of these out off camera just to save time, and I'll be back soon, okay? Okay, so now they're all cut out, I'm going to glue these together just quickly. Just with a bit of tacky glue. Do the little wings. I can see I've mismatched them a little bit, but once this is dried I can just cut them so that they match on both sides properly. They're only a tiny little bit out from my tracing and cutting. Yep, so while they're drying I'll show you what I do next with these birds now. And that's simply to put the wings on. So I'll do on that side there, and I'll do on the other side so that it's sticking up a bit more. It's a shame there because that doesn't have any text on it, and I'd like that to be able to see there. So I might quickly add a little bit of text over that from an old book that I've been using. Well, the camera batteries ran out, so I just had to change them. So I fixed up the back of the wing so that it looks alright now. So what I'll do next is I will glue those wings in place with my hot glue gun, which I've already heated up. I'll just put a bit of a blob on there. And I actually want quite a big blob because I want the wings to sort of stand out from the body a little bit. It won't be quite enough, but we'll have to do. There. So that's that little bird so far. Just let that glue dry. And this is alright now. I'll just trim this up a little bit. Oops, got tangled up there. I really need to find my other scissors. This is crazy. I can't get in and do the little fine fiddly bits with these. Well, not that easily anyway. Got a feeling I'll have to turn the this room upside down trying to find them. They probably got packed away with something else and I didn't notice they were there. Alright, so now I'll glue his little wings on. That still needs a trim there. Alright. Ooh, lots of glue. Ooh. Do the other wing quickly. It's quite late in the day at the moment. I have spent most of the day trying to figure out what I want to do with these birds and how I was going to do it. Before I, was able to come on and show you. Right, so there's two little birds. Now, I'll just turn that glue gun off. What I'm going to do with these little birds next is, with some fishing wire, attach some little danglies that coming from the bottom of each bird. So I've already selected some beads and little dangly things here for each of them. So as far as I remember, I'm missing something. Extra little bit that I wanted. Well, actually two little bits that are missing. It's one of those. Oh, doesn't want to stay still. Oh no, there it is. I got all mixed up. I already had that one. Where's the other piece? That one's missing. So, which is just one of these little, I don't know what they're called. A bead thing. Okay. So I'll start with the big one, and I've got this little thing I want to have on the end. So this is going to be tricky. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me do this very well, because I'm having trouble myself seeing it. But basically I'm tying several knots with the fishing wire to hold it secure in place. There's no fancy fishing knots or anything. If you know how to do them, you can do them by all means, but I just do basic knotting. I did try and do, looked up how to do, a special knot for tying fishing hooks on and that, but I couldn't get the hang of it. So, and these aren't going to be used for anything strenuous, so I don't think it would matter. Basic knot would hold them in place securely enough. Ugh, this is fiddly. Only because the ring that I've got holding this on has a tiny split in it, and I don't want the fishing wire to be near that split because it would just come off. So I need to keep it away from there. So I will do another knot, and that should be enough. Just cut that stray end off, and then next just take a fair bit of length, so I've got a lot to play with, Next I'll put this little cap, I think it is, on. Oh, tweezers. And then this big bead. And now I want 4 of these big beads. And there should be 2, 4, 6. How many do I need? I'll just check one I've done previous. 1, 2, 3. 8 for a small bird. So that was right, 2, 4, 6, 8. So I've got a spare one. Because I've already done a lot prior to this. I just wanted to do the last 2 to show you how to do it, or to show you what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put them all together. So there you have a little dangle, and they're little pieces of shell made into beads. That's a bead off a necklace. Where was I? That's a jewellery finding thing, and this is off an old pair of earrings that broke. So now what I want to do is pierce a hole in the bottom of the bird, generally in the centre, and I'm just doing that with some pointed tweezers. I don't have one of those pokey tools, I think it's called an awl. Don't have that, so you just make do with what you do have. Just a big enough hole to pass the thread through. And now I'll just do the same basic thing of tying knots to secure it tightly. And I'll pull it up so that it's close to the bottom of the bird, or the bottom of its belly. This is hard for me. I keep wanting to stuff my face right in there so I can see closely. You don't want my head right in the way of the camera. So yeah, big plane just going overhead. We're a fair distance away from the airport, but we must be on their flight path somehow, because we get quite a lot of planes going over. Thankfully they're not directly overhead, down low. We know someone who does live on the flight path, and they get planes going right over their head really close because the plane's coming in for landing. The noise is horrendous. I wouldn't be able to live with that, especially when you think about trying to be able to sleep with that noise. Oops. Yeah, so there's birdie with a dangle. Oops, I didn't cut that off well enough. So we'll do the next one. although you probably don't need to see me do that again. I'm just going to be doing the same thing. The only difference is that it has a little type of bell as a dangle on the end rather than the green piece of earring. So I'll do that and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've done that now. What I want to do next is I'll show you one I've done previously. Hoping you can see that. A bit of paper behind it maybe. I've got some fishing wire going up from the top of the bird, so I need to poke holes roughly I suppose where its eye would be and on its tail, and then put a loop of fishing wire in there. It's not really wire, is it? It's, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, tweezers to poke a hole with. And this, what I'm doing is so that I can hang them up, because I want to hang them from something, which I'll show you a little bit further along. It's actually the next day now because it got a little bit too dark in here yesterday and I wasn't able to see on the camera very well what was happening, so I left it until today. Be careful, I just stabbed myself with the tweezers. That on the board was probably a smarter move, just to at least get the hole started. Right, so just take a length of this, measure how much I actually want, because I want it to be near enough to the same as the previous one. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, but so again it's the same process of tying little knots. Sorry if this is boring, you can skip ahead I guess if I'm not able to figure out how to speed up these parts. I spent a little bit of time last night watching some tutorials on this different movie making program that I want to be using. Got through the sort of, you know, the beginner's introduction and thought, okay, I understand, I'm familiar with where everything is now and what you can do with it. So I had a little bit of a play around, took one of my files and put it into the program and it didn't show up. The only thing that transferred across was the audio, but no actual video. So my husband said there's some problem with the actual file that this camera makes, I suppose you could say. So he's trying to find something that can transfer. Oh, I don't understand properly what he's doing, but he's going to make it so that they're different types of files and they are able to be accepted by the program. So what I was able to figure out in Movie Maker, how to speed the track up and put music to it. I thought, oh, this is going really well. But towards the end of a video that I've done recently, I wanted to then go back to my voice talking, and I found that I can't do both those things. I can do either have music all the way through or have talking all the way through, but I can't do a combination, which is very frustrating to me because, you know, I really wanted to be able to do that, so I'm having to learn to use this new program that apparently, according to my husband, you are able to do that and a whole lot of other things with it as well, these special effects and things. Not that they really interest me, I just want to be able to do a few functions that I'm not able to do with Windows Movie Maker. I think the issue there too is that I don't have the most modern version because we're still using Windows XP. So we're probably using an old version of Movie Maker that XP can handle. So yeah, that's where I'm at this stage with videos. So if you don't like me talking as much as I do, you can either not watch the video at all or just skip ahead. Alright, so that's one. And what I do with these now is I'm using these swivels for fishing line. That's what it's called, fishing line, not fishing wire. Because they swivel, so you can obviously have something hang from there and turn around, which is what I want from these. So what I do is try and get that as even as possible so it hangs straight. And then I'll just tie this onto one side of the swivel. Again, just using basic knots. And then I'm able to hang the birds, which I'll show you how I'll do that next when I finish these two birds, because I've got a whole lot of them already done to save time. It's proving a little bit awkward. Yeah, going back to being able to film from overhead, like I was saying, the tripod doesn't fit too well on this desk. The only solution to that, I guess, is to get a bigger desk. At this stage that's going to be too difficult because although we've got a bigger desk, it won't fit in this room along with the other cupboards and things I've got in here, plus the bed, which our daughter sometimes stays overnight here, and so she wants her old bed. So yeah, unless I can figure out some other way to set the tripod up so it doesn't take up all that room, I'm stuck with still doing this for a little while longer. And I'm just saying I'm sorry that you have to put up with a lot of the time not being able to see what I'm actually doing. Okay, so there's the bird. That's how he's finished. And I will go ahead and do the next one off camera, so, and I'll come back and show you what I do with them after that. Okay, so now that I have all my birds done, I now want to work on stringing up some beads. So I'll show you what I've done so far. I've got these little black beads and some plastic beads that I've covered with text paper, which just these little plastic I've forgotten what they're called. Pony beads, that's right. So, you know, this is really easy. You just cut a bit of book paper with text on it, dob some glue down the centre, and then just wrap it around the bead. It's a bit fiddly, but I didn't have any beads that I really liked that would go with those black beads. Oh, messed that up a bit. Put it in the centre. Yeah, so if I don't have something that I want, then I'll make it, which is what I'm doing now. Is just making these into more attractive beads that I think will match with the birds. Now it's probably a bit too much on the end, so I'll cut a bit off. And then all you do is, well, I do, with some tweezers or just with your fingers to start with, just push the ends over, and then I'll just poke the tweezers through the hole so that you can still thread them. And they look good, I think. Yeah, of course, because I'm on camera, it's not working. Anyway. So yeah, and then you've got little beads with little bits of text all around them. And just string that on, and that'll dry in time. Need to poke a hole through that one a bit better. I think I might have had too much glue. It's very sticky and not working that well. But I just, yeah, quickly came on to show you that's what I'm doing. And then I'll finish stringing the rest up off camera. And then I'll begin to put these birds and the beads together and show you what I'm doing with them. Okay, so I'll be back after I've finished off doing these.